to episode 21 of the Over the Shoulder podcast. This week, we are going over the entire 2001 WWF Figures Inc. line. Once again, like every week, I'm here with Rob. And Rob, we have a lot of guests this week. Go ahead and introduce them.
Holy crap, Max. I can't believe how many guests we have for this episode. I call these three gentlemen the kings of the Figs Inc. line, the 2001 Figs Inc. line. First, I want to introduce, a co-host that we've had on the podcast, KO Fan 93, Casey. He's an absolute amazing belt collector, been collecting since 2002, 2003. One of the admins on Belt Addicts Anonymous, so we're really, really happy to have him on here. As well, we've got Jamie Gilbert, who is another admin on Belt Addicts Anonymous. Absolutely amazing to have a hell of a belt collector as well. Got an incredible amount of belts. I'm just in awe. A lot of deluxes, a lot of stuff that I just cannot believe. And then, of course, Brandon Douglas is also on here. He was on one of our other episodes. You guys saw him as well, the hardcore episode. So first, Casey, why don't you say hi?
What is going on, you guys? It's KOL Fan 93 back here on the Over the Shoulder podcast. Glad to be back, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, we're really happy to have you, Jamie. Say hello to all the fans.
Hello. How's it going? I'm really excited to be here. I'm glad I've been able to, make it this time and be a part of this podcast. And I'm really excited. And thank you very much for inviting me, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, we're really happy to have you, bro. Definitely. You're definitely one of the kings here. There's no doubt about it. Brandon, say hello to all of our fans.
How you guys doing? Appreciate you having me on again.
Yeah, so, like I said, we're happy to have this. Is a huge crowd, Max. I mean, it was only 2 of us last week, and now we have 5.
Yeah, huge change.
Just a huge change. Why don't we go for it, and we'll get started in this beautiful episode we got here.
Exactly, and there's no better way to start than with the Big Eagle, specifically the WWF scratch logo Big Eagle. Now, this is Casey's replica. This is your picture, so thank you, Casey, for the pictures. Beautiful replica. I gotta say this. We talked about, I'm not sure if we talked about the Big Eagle before, but I've talked about in previous episodes how I don't really like the scratch logo, the WWF scratch logo, and I always preferred the block. But this Big Eagle just looks beautiful. I mean, that replica is just an amazing replica. So, Rob, go ahead. What do you think about it?
I mean, I agree, Max. This was actually, I got to tell you, this was when I was starting out belt collecting. This was actually belt number 4, I believe, that I ended up getting. It's a deluxe that I have with a shit ton of signatures. Don't need to go in on those. But with respect to this belt, I do like the belt. I really do. Having that property logo plate is absolutely huge. The plate, the main plate is absolutely ginormous. Absolutely amazing belt. 2 millimeter. I mean, that's what Figs Inc. Put out. It's a great belt. Another local friend that I have here actually has his belt, and it's actually signed by Triple H. It's a really cool belt. He'll never sell that one, unfortunately, but it's okay. But I do like the belt. I absolutely do. I think it's a great belt, and I believe that the female snaps. I believe it's a 2x6 on the female snaps. I believe it is. At least mine is. But again, great belt. Casey, what do you think, man?
So first thing, you are correct about the female snaps. It is a 2x6. I just counted it because, it's right there.
Right there.
But no, so this belt is actually kind of a pivotal moment for me because growing up, I didn't go to my first WWE live event until 2005. So that was the Unforgiven pay-per-view. And up until that point, the only belt that I'd ever seen besides what was on TV were the kid-size replicas that I got for my birthday one year. And when we went to that Unforgiven event, the WWF Big Eagle was the first adult-sized belt that I ever saw in person. There was a guy that had it at the box office, and it was the biggest friggin' thing I'd ever seen in my life. Insert innuendo. But no, really, it just reminds me of that moment, and it takes me back to a period that was just pure bliss. It's just a nostalgia thing for me that you can't beat this belt. It looks good. It has a good feel to it. If you take care of it, the strap stays intact for a long time. Don't listen to what anybody says. If you take care of your stuff, it's going to last you a while. So this is definitely something that if you're wanting WWF, you don't need to go waste your money on some cheap piece of crap from the desert.
From
So,
Rob's favorite maker, United Belt Bros.
Well, we
just
call
don't
them
get you a damn
United
thing.
Bitch Brothers. Call them United Bitch Brothers. Jamie, what do you think?
So, I feel like, okay, when this belt came out, obviously, this obviously was, the Figs incline, but far from the, the scratch logo. It originally, the original belt had the block logo, and it was a navy blue strap, which obviously was never released. I kind of wish that would have been released. I think that would have been something cool to, to have for sure. It did take me a minute to get used to this belt because I grew up with the winged eagle, for all those years, and to see something like this that was similar, but yet it was definitely different as far as design, and it did take a minute to get used to, but it grew on me, and I absolutely love the belt. It's heavy. The original release of this belt did not come with the property plate on it. That was later released in a deluxe version, and probably the second or third run or release, something like that. I don't know how, when this came out, this is when I first started, getting into belt collecting. So I'm not quite sure how that worked. But there was also rumors of this belt potentially being in ultra deluxe format. I don't know how true that is. But I did own one of these, and as far as an ultra deluxe, the plates were 4mm. I was told it was a prototype, but I was not sure. But plate size were exact to the 2mm and everything like that. So, but I was sketchy about it, so I got rid of it. But overall, the belt's great. A lot of people have held it, and my version I have is the deluxe version. Mine is 106 of 5,000, and I absolutely love it, and I'm so glad I have it in my collection.
No, it's a great belt. It totally is. Brandon, what do you think of it?
The design of the belt is amazing. I think it's one of the best eagles that they've done with the Figs incline. It had the more like a metal kind of look to the wings, like they weren't like just some sort of like put together feathers, and it was like actually architecturally very done, very well. And then they also had the different champion in each box. Casey, I don't know I forget which one, but there's two different. You have the what the heck is that? I can't even see it. But and then there's also the lions on each plate. One's holding a shield, and then the other one's holding a shield that has the WWF logo plate on it. But just the design altogether was really put together, really done well. I just wish they would go back to this kind of craftiness of the designs of the belts. But yeah, overall, I definitely give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And
No,
and I agree with you guys. I mean, Bret Hart. I mean, obviously, I know Bret. I get a lot of stuff signed by Bret Hart, but posted a video when he was unboxing just a Winged Eagle shop, right? And he's like, not that other piece of crap that they have right now. He's talking about the network logo. So I believe that these titles right here, they're just amazing. They absolutely are. They are absolutely incredible. So absolutely incredible. So it's a great belt. I totally agree, Max.
Yeah, no, and one thing I want to touch on that Jamie was saying, the blue version, the block logo, that is absolutely my favorite version of the Big Eagle. I really wish they released that. If there was a Figures Inc. version, I don't really go for Figures Inc. belts, but if there was, I would definitely go for that. But I know, Casey, you're clawing at the bit to talk about that Ultra Deluxe, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I had totally forgotten about that till he said something. Yeah, that did exist. I have had the prototype. I did sell it. I know who has it to this day. I'm not gonna say who has it, and I'm not gonna say who I got it from, but it's very reputable. It was re-leathered by the time that I got it. It was re-leathered on a send-out strap from AJ's belts before whenever they still had their stitched-on snap boxes. But I'm not gonna say who I got it from. I just know that they got it directly from the factory. Or not the factory, but the Figs warehouse when it was still in Rhode Island. They got it from them back in 2002.
Nice.
And it was re-leathered on a blue strap. Max, I actually sent you the pictures just a while ago. It was real. I owned it, and I can 100% confirm that. You can have people tell you all day long, no. But swear to God, I put it next to a 2mm. They are the exact same thing, just different thickness.
Yep.
So yeah, I can't put it on the presentation, but I'll show you on my phone. You can see the thickness there.
Yeah.
4mm plates. Oh my god.
And look how clean that is. That's how you know that's not some crappy bootleg.
Super clean.
Right,
No
exactly.
bubbles, no waves. Super smooth.
Proper logo design, proper
Beautiful.
property plate.
Proper paint. And you can see that main plate just looks beautiful.
And the screws on the back did in fact match up with those of the 2mm Figs Inc.
That's awesome.
Nice.
They were not bolts, they were screws.
Yep. Exactly.
Man, to own one of those belts would be crazy.
I wish I'd known how rare that was when I got it. I thought there were multiple of that, but no, I think there's less than 5 to my knowledge.
I'm into rare belts.
Yeah.
I can get you in touch with the guy. I just don't want to put his name out there.
I feel like a month from now, Rob's gonna have that in his hands. He'll be like, "Hey guys,
I'm
one of your belts."
into rare belts. I'm good.
Now, moving on to another belt. Of course, it is the WWF Smoking Skull. We did go over this in an episode, the history of this belt, so you guys can check that out. But this time, we're just talking about the 2001 Figures Inc. version. I believe this is on 2mm plates. What do you guys think about this replica, Rob?
Yeah, and this is the one belt that you get to see on eBay that's just saturated with fucking bootlegs. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And you're definitely able to tell which is a bootleg, there's no doubt. I do like the belt. I mean, I've owned the WWE shop version. I sold that one quick. For me, it's this one. I mean, if you are going to have the skull, you're going to have the WWF. I like the skull on the main plate. I guess the one thing is, I mean, the color is not bad. This one is pretty good because thank God for the logo on each of the side plates. If it wasn't for that, you would have no flippin' color with this belt at all. I mean, does 2mm bother me? Of course it doesn't. I mean, I'm a Figs Inc. belt collector. One thing is, and I believe, is that on the bootlegs, you see the swoosh underneath the WWF logo on the main plate. That's the one way that you can really tell that that's a fucking bootleg, is that they decide to do the stupid swoosh. On this one, on the Figs Inc., there is no swoosh underneath the WWF on the main plate.
And sorry to cut you off, but one other easy way to notice is the snakes.
Yeah,
if you look at the snakes on the side plates, it's not 2 heads, it's 1 snake, the tail, and then a head. Some people do 2 heads, and it's just easy to tell if it's the incorrect artwork. But
absolutely.
Brandon, of course, you do have that belt. Do you want to show it off and talk about it?
Yes, this is, Casey and Jamie can both confirm, this is probably one of the most sought after Figs Inc. belts that, people want, but the price on it is gouging, of course. But if you ever come across one that's a Figs Inc. that's in good condition and it's willing, price wise, get it, because like I said, this is one of the rare ones. Like you said, the snake, there's two snakes, one on each side. There is no swoosh, like Rob has said, underneath. It's just straight WWF. And then, of course, you got this one has the property plate right here. And then, of course, you got the snake skin backing, which is really awesome. And what I was told also is if you keep that sticker on this belt, for some reason, it turns the leather of that square piece where that Figs Inc. stamp turns it yellow, the leather. So I've seen a lot of belts that have had that, and you literally see a square yellow spot, and it just completely destroys, the look of it. So I was very lucky that he took it off, but he kept the hologram.
That's awesome.
Get the hologram.
Yeah. So very lucky. This belt, like I said, is a very rare belt, and you gotta give it a 10 out of 10. So you can't really, my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree, Brandon. It's a great belt, and I had no idea about that yellow.
Maybe it's the glue or something.
Yeah, maybe. Casey, what do you think?
So the Smoking Skull, it's a timeless classic. You see here by the pictures, mine is not in necessarily pristine condition. The plates are good, but there is bubbling through the strap there. As Brandon mentioned with the strap, it does leave that yellow square because, Jamie, I think I got this from you. You bought it from eBay, didn't you?
Yes. Yep.
Did you notice that yellowing on the back?
Yep.
And I had no idea that that's what would cause that till he just said that.
Yep.
So you learn something new every day there. But yeah, plates are great. The strap, it's not bad. It's just that bubbling there on the outer edge. So I don't even see the need to seek out a better one because this one's just fine. But I absolutely love this built. And you can tell that this is what the Brahma Bull was based off of. I do want to do a side-by-side comparison of these. But when it comes to the replica version of this belt, you're going to have to choose the Figs Inc. over the WWE shop version every day of the week. And why? It just looks so much better with that WWF logo. Yeah. The fact that it doesn't have the swoosh underneath it on the main plate, I love that. That's exactly accurate to what was on television, but you get the 5mm or even the 2mm WWE logo. You've got just a compressed logo with the swoosh. It looks wrong.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, sorry, Jamie, as well. You're saying 2mm on the shop version. Yeah, is it really 2? It's like 0.25 for all I know. Like, holy crap! It's just unreal. Like how stupid the thickness is. Jamie, what do you think, man?
So this belt holds a really really big part of my heart. Like when I first got into belt collecting, this was actually the first belt that I got when they were released, because I was such a huge Stone Cold fan. Obviously, the one that I own now is the deluxe version, which everything's the same except it's a leather strap, a real leather strap. But when this belt came out, I was just so excited, and the detail of it is fantastic. The center plate is the design and everything that went into this is really, really cool. And I am very happy to have this belt in my collection. The deluxe version and the regular, the regular version of this belt is very hard to get, and when they do show up, most of the time they don't last by any means. And for sure, as you guys were saying, if you're going to own this belt, you really need to own the Figs Inc. version with the WWF logo, hands down, because when I own a shop version, and it's just not the same. It's just not. But the belt's great. I love it. I'm glad it's in my collection. Detail's great. I'm very happy with the belt. I'd say, maybe like 8 out of 10. Like, the strap is not great, but most of the Figs Inc. belts straps are not great. But other than that, I'm satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Now, and gentlemen, as a Figs Inc. belt collector, the straps did suck back then. They did. But we're all collecting these items is because where they've come from, the rarity of these belts, the Figs Inc. are not going to get the same as you would with a Figs Inc. 100% agree with you, Jamie, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think you guys all brought up great points about the history behind this belt and how much in the time it was such a popular belt because everyone loves Stone Cold, of course. So, yeah. Moving on to another belt that is, of course, the WWF Scratch Logo Oval IC. And
I know.
I'm gonna be honest, guys.
I know.
I hate this belt. I hate this design. I'm sorry, guys.
I know.
Like I said, I never liked the Oval IC too much, okay, to begin with, and then the WWF Scratch logo hurts me. I always like the block logo better. The original block logo with the dark purple strap, I love that version. This version doesn't do it for me at all. The replicas, it's fine. Doesn't do it for me. Sorry, guys. I know it's blasphemy here because you guys all own it, but that's just my opinion. Rob, what do you think about it?
Well, I know, Max. I know how you feel about this belt. I do like the belt. I do. I'd rather have this version than the WWE one just because of the one-liner and then the nameplate. I do not like that. I don't believe that a nameplate really belongs on this belt.
No.
I do like I like the main plate. Of course, that's the highlight of this belt. The globe is really cool. I know you probably don't like maybe because you've got the scratch on there. If it had the block logo, it'd be probably a little bit better. I got to be honest with you guys. I had 2 of these at one point and just recently. And I guess, are they really sought after? I'm not sure, but I had a real bitch of a time selling the one. It actually won an event on Belt Addicts Anonymous. I know who won it. We won't mention their name, but I don't know if these are the ones that are sought after. It's not like the ones with like the Stone Cold one. You would see these pop up. I see these pop up all the time with these, and that's exactly the thing. The strap, of course, is not the greatest. It definitely is not. The one that I had originally was not the greatest. I do like this belt. I do. I like that they're exhibiting some of the continents on the side plates. I like the I like the main plate. I do. I like the fact that the Intercontinental is on one line, not like the WWE version where it's Intercontinental Champion and crushed together. I really don't like that. I just think it kind of flows really, really nicely. If you want to restone this belt, I was quoted 50 US. It's kind of funny because there's only 6 flipping stones on it. But anyways, that's a fun fact. Casey, what do you think of it?
So this is another one that I'm going to call a timeless classic. This takes me back to pretty much what I consider my glory days of watching wrestling, because I see this belt, I'm thinking Jeff Hardy, I'm thinking Kane, I'm thinking D'Lo Brown, Jericho, the list goes on and on and on. And of course, the final champion to hold that belt, Triple H. Some of the best matches of my childhood, because around 2001, I was 8 or 9 years old in that era right there. So that's my glory days, and it just takes me back to very fond memories of that. I wanted this belt so bad as a kid, but by the time I got into collecting, they had already changed to WWE. So you couldn't really find this. You couldn't even find it in a kid-size version. And now I've owned 3 of these. I did a complete restoration on one about 7 years ago. I got it. It was just completely trashed. Somebody had took it from its original condition and put it down to about 3 out of 10.
Wow.
I was somehow able to restore it back to around a 7 out of 10 condition. I'm talking stripping, repainting, replating, everything that I could possibly get done to it. And like you mentioned with yours, Rob, it was an absolute bitch to sell after all that work that I put into it, because now, for some reason, this is generally the second most common Attitude Era belt that you can find on the market. The first, obviously, being the Big Eagle, but it's almost like out of nowhere these things started flying out, and it kind of reminds me of that 2006 re-release of the Hardcore Championship, because what that actually was just unsold 2001 replicas that they's like, oh hey, let's put these back on sale. So it's almost like just WWE sent these out of the woodwork, which I know isn't the case. It's just people reselling their stuff. But even with how common they are nowadays, if you're able to get your hands on one, why not? It's a WWF Figs Inc. Like, how often are you going to be able to say, hey, I got a WWF Figs Inc. belt?
Yeah. I mean, I put it on my wall, and there you go. And yeehaw. I mean, but I agree. It's absolute was a total bitch selling it, and I see all these pop up so much lately. So, just a killer.
And even that being said, even though we're saying that they're common, they're still not common. It's just out of this line, which is a completely rare line from the get-go. These are just the more common that you're going to see out of all of them.
Yeah. No.
Let's say the Attitude Era collection as a whole has an 8 to 10 level rarity. This would probably be around a 6.
Yeah.
So it's still up there.
I agree. Jamie, what do you think, man?
So, like Max, like when this belt first was released, I totally dug the block logo with the purple leather and all that. And when they, as a whole, though, I had a really hard time accepting this belt. From because I grew up, with the Winged Eagle and the classic IC, and then bam, we get these changes. It was hard for me again to accept these changes, especially when this belt looks totally different than the classic IC. But as far as again, this belt grew on me. I'm not a huge fan of this belt. I have had a few of these in my collection, over the years. My version that I have now, which is a deluxe version. I've had my deluxe for I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years now. Mine does have the property plate. As you guys have mentioned, it's common but not uncommon. They're definitely out there and people can buy them. There's actually one floating around on some of the pages and eBay right now if somebody wanted to pick one up. But overall, I think the belt's fine. It's grown on me, and I'm good with it. And that's kind of just how I feel about it.
Yeah. Before I go to Brandon, sorry, Jamie. The one that's probably floating around is the one that is mine that went in an event that she's trying to get rid of. I don't need to. But that's why I was laughing. I don't mean to. I'm not going to mention her name here, but that is the one that's probably floating around. Brandon, what do you think, man?
I think like you guys also, it took a minute to grow on me. I think when it finally sunk in that this belt was awesome to me was when Jeff Hardy won it in the ladder match. That right there, I think, is what I was like, man, okay, now I need this belt. And then Chris Jericho had it. And then, then you're like, oh man, Chris Jericho is one of the best Intercontinental champs. Now it's like one of those, okay, I need the belt now because, he's held it. One of my favorite matches, as you guys know, like I like to have my figures of that championship bout on each belt going down my collection. And one of those fights was, I believe it was Rob Van Dam versus Eddie Guerrero. That was probably one of the best intercontinental matches, I think. And it was overseas, I believe, too. It was an overseas match. And it had changed hands, I believe, also. And Rob Van Dam had won it because it went back and forth with Guerrero won it, then RVD won it, then back to Guerrero, then I think RVD won it the second to last time. So those feuds right before Invasion, those were some pretty iconic matches with the Intercontinental Championship. So that not more or less the title, more or less the matches that it generated is what I'm a fan of. So in that sense, you got to have the belt for the collection, and that's pretty much it with that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel as well. It's on my wall. I get to look at it. Here we go. That's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Now moving on to another mid-card title. It is the WWF Scratch Logo European, and
great belt.
I always prefer the block logo. Once again, like block logo for. I mean, I love the block
Why did
logo.
they just make a block logo line? Like, come on.
I know, like I just I need that. So I always prefer the block logo because of the green strap, it's just the logo itself. But this one's still not bad. This one is more bearable for me than compared to the oval, to be honest. But yeah, it's really unique design. I love all the colors on them, the flags. Of course, we went over it in a separate episode, the European title. But this title, like you guys are saying, grew on me a lot. When I first saw it, I didn't really like it too much. But over the years, seeing it, everyone owning the replicas and everything, going back on the network and seeing the history of this belt, it's really grown on me. So I think it's a pretty damn good replica. Rob, what do you think?
I have a lot of thoughts of this belt. I really do. I love this belt. I absolutely do. And when I think of this belt, I think of a few names that come to mind here. D'Lo Brown is one. I think of Davey Boy Smith. I think of Kurt Angle. As you know, absolutely. I even think, I believe, Owen Hart as well. And it's amazing. I saw a picture. I was at Bret Hart's sister's house, and I saw a picture of Davey Boy on her mantle, and he was wearing this belt. Absolutely incredible to see. I love the belt. I really do. I like what Casey, I know, Casey, this is your pick. I like what you did with the paint mod on it. It's really, really cool. The one that I have, I got really, really lucky on for that belt. I got it in a steel, as mentioned on the European episode. It was just an incredible steel. I pretty much stole it from the guy for 2001 Figs Inc. It was under 250 Canadian that I spent on this belt. I stole it, like I said.
$3 American.
Yeah, like $3 American. But it's a belt that I never thought that I would own, and my belt is in really, really good shape, clean as a whistle. I can see my reflection through it. I love the backing on it. I love that green, smooth backing on the belt. It's absolutely amazing. I got to be honest, and we're going to be mentioning this further in the episode, what Shock did with this belt. There's a lot of inconsistencies that I don't like, and it's particularly with the globe. I don't like the globe. And then I really got to be honest as well, World Wrestling Entertainment, there's not a lot of color. I like the distinguishing color that it goes from the top of the logo down World Wrestling Federation in white, and then the banner, of course, European Champion. I feel like it's missing on the shop version. We'll get into that. But as you can tell here, I know a lot about this belt. I love this belt. Casey, what do you think?
So, you guys have heard me talk about the European before, especially on my YouTube channel. This is obviously one of my favorites. I have owned several European championships. I've only owned the one WWF adult size. I did have a kid size. That was my second belt that I ever got. That was also the first one that I paint modded. I have paint modified every single one I've ever owned. Reason being, it's really the only downside with the WWF Figs Inc. one is the fact that the logo boxes are black instead of the red. And they're advertised with the red. If you guys can find the picture of the old advertisements, you'll see that they're advertised red. And Brandon, I know yours is still black, correct?
Mine's black.
Rob's is as well. So, I mean, that's just something that I had to do, but that's the only thing I didn't like about this belt was the fact that I had to repaint it, which, I mean, that was a fun little thing for me to do anyway. But it's funny that you mentioned the inconsistencies with the WWE shop version because that globe is number one, it's blurry. It looks like some clip art that was out of focus.
Yeah.
But then you've got the issue with like the Irish flag. Yes, they tried to include the Irish flag, but it's actually not the Irish flag. No. It's the right colors, but it's backwards. I don't remember what country that is, but it's not Ireland. It's the same flag, but it's reversed. And then, of course, there is no inclusion of an Italian flag anywhere on the WWE shop version. It has the gold lettering that's raised instead of the white. Now, I know that it's supposed to be, it's correct, it's accurate to what it is with the fact that the logo is gold and the box is red and all that stuff. But that was the block logo version and the very first scratch logo. If they're going to go with the Attitude Era, like we're saying 1999, well, not even 99, 2000 to 2001, that is going to be more of like what you see here with the white letters and the white logo, or even the black logo, if you guys have ever seen that version of it. And then there was actually a WWE version to be made. If you guys follow Dan Belzer on Twitter, a.k.a. Dan McMahon, Belt Fan Dan, whatever, you can see the actual JMR made WWE logo version of the real belt, and it has included a space for a nameplate. So that's probably why they went ahead and released those WWE replicas of it, because it just seems like it was scrapped later on, the idea was. I mean, obviously they were going to re-release the WWE version of it anyway, but that's just my opinion. I love this belt.
I totally agree with you, bro. I love it as well. Jamie, what do you think, man?
Huge fan of this belt. One of my most favorite belts in my collection. I can't say a whole lot bad, as far as anything bad about it. I mean, obviously, the colors, logo and things of that nature, red to black, whatever, that's definitely an issue. But most of the replicas out there in general are not 100% ring accurate anyways. But this definitely is a rare, one of the not a very common belt to find as far as being able to purchase. It is very sought after. I think when this belt was released, like immediately I think a British Bulldog, one night only. It was fantastic. And I'm happy to own this deluxe version as well in my collection. No paint mods have been done. The colors are the same as the original replica that was released. Nothing different. It does have the green backing as well. I am a big fan of the green backing of this belt, for sure. You don't see a lot of that with big replica belts, and when they decided to do a green backing, I thought it was really cool. I'm very happy with it, and I'm glad I have it.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And speaking of that back end, smooth as a baby's ass, I'll tell you. Oh, I'm telling you, smooth as a baby's ass. I love just going back and forth. It's just absolutely amazing.
And WWE shop missed the mark on that. They got the color right, but the texture sucks.
It's probably rough, right? It's a rough texture.
Yeah, here, let me grab it real quick.
Yeah,
it's like you can tell just by looking at it.
I could already tell that's rough.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the normal black backing leaves. I hate that backing.
It was way too heavy when the WWE version, way too heavy. It did not need to be that heavy.
No. Now, Brandon, what do you think of the belt, man, in general, though? Like the WWF?
Mine, I love. The green backing is awesome. I think they did a really good idea with that. Now, there are a couple of versions of it. I know Shane McMahon, I don't know if he brought it out or X-Pac brought it out, the green version with the red backing.
Yeah, Shane.
That one was pretty freaking dope. I liked when they did that. And a little side note for that, the reason why those belts had so many different colors on them was because Jamar was so lazy in ordering leather that's all he had available. So that's why a lot of those colors are like that, is because that's what he had in his stock. So that's why, like, with, like, off topic, the ECW belts with the purple and with all those different colors is because that's what he had it and that's what he used.
That's such a Jmar thing to do.
It totally is.
Just throw it on there.
Yeah, his snap boxes were a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
moving on to the WWF scratch logo classic tags. Sorry, I can't speak. Now, you guys already know what I'm going to talk about with this one.
Yeah, well,
Block logo, come on. And then also, I wish it was dual plated. Now, this one's not bad. I mean, I prefer the dual plated version with the block logo. The side plates seem really small on this version. I wish they were bigger. Just don't really like this one too much, Rob.
yeah. I mean, it is a rare belt, actually. It is. I haven't seen
too many of these.
And I'll be really honest. I mean, some chump has one listed on eBay for an astronomical price. I mean, he is totally out to lunch for $2,500 US. Give me a break. You will not get that for this belt. Anyways, it is a rare belt, I find. It absolutely is. I like it, I do. Now, if I were to compare it to my block logo classic tag, I like that one better than this one. I do. But again, it's rare. This is absolutely a rare belt. I don't see a lot of these pop up. Yeah, I know what you mean, Max. The side plates don't really do anything. It doesn't look like there is anything. It just looks like it's like little patches that are just pasted on the belt. The real highlight
and the logos look so big on the side plates. It just
I know. And then the main plate, the main plate is the one that helps the belt. I still think it's a great belt. I really do. I got lucky, and I'll shout out to John Barbarossa found me this belt at AJ's Belts. I mean, classic dude. I was looking for this belt, and he was able to deliver. This was one of the first rare ones that I had in the collection. I've had this belt for about 2 years. I mean, when I think about this belt, Edge and Christian wore this belt really, really, really proudly. Loved seeing it on them. Hardy Boys, I believe, too. So, I mean, I do like this belt. I really, really do. But again, I like the block logo better. But again, I like this belt as well. Casey, what do you think?
Okay, so this one probably holds the most special place in my heart out of all of these. And it's not my favorite. So I know it sounds a little weird to say that it holds a special place like that, but this was actually the first replica belt that I ever owned, was a kid-sized version of the WWF Attitude Tag. And this also goes back to the conversation that I had with your former co-host on his channel before the video got erased. This is another one that brings back that special memory of my grandmother, because my grandmother was there with me when I got my first belt. She took me to get it from the post office, and she was there when I unboxed it. So whenever I got the adult-sized version of this, which I got from Jamie.
That's what I was just about to say.
It was after her passing. So it was almost like getting to relive that moment all over again, even though she wasn't there with me in person. You know, it felt like it did back in 2003. So very fond memories of this belt. And I do have to go ahead and give props to WWE Shop, because I don't think any of you guys own this belt yet that's been re-released from Shop. But this one, they actually knocked it out of the park. They did everything right with the new version of this. The only complaint would be it's not the WWF logo. Now, we did have a technical WWE logo version of this on TV when they painted the F out. And we saw that for a good, 6 months, if not 7 months. And it's pretty much just like that. And Kane being my favorite wrestler, this was the version of the tag team titles that he held with the Hurricane when he returned in 2002. That was a very pivotal moment for me, because that was whenever I really started to get into the storytelling and all that stuff just outside of the wrestling matches. This is whenever my appreciation for belts and wrestling really started. So I absolutely love this belt. Whichever version you can get your hands on, be it the WWE Shop, the Figs Inc. with the WWE logo, that 2mm one that was out from 2003 to 10, or the 2001. You can't go wrong with any of them. However, nothing does beat the original 2001.
Yeah, I mean, I love having WWF on my belts. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, gentlemen, but Jamie, what do you think?
Overall, I think the belt is it's a really good belt. Again, it took me a minute to get used to it just because I was used to the classic stuff. Obviously, you're going to hear me repeat that over and over and over again. Um, but like for me, yeah, the Hardy Boys and all that holding this belt, definitely around, in my time, uh, you know, wrestling was huge for me. I do, again, my version. I did have two deluxe versions of this, but I did sell one of them. Um, and kind of kicking myself in the butt for that, but I do have one, so I'm not kicking myself that bad. Um, I overall, I think the belt's great. I do like the fact that it still holds the somewhat of design from the classic tag, which is pretty nice to have. Um, Overall, like I said, I think the belt it's a good belt. Definitely, like the WWF version of this belt is very hard to find. You do not see many of them pop up at all, anywhere. And if
Yeah.
you do, you're gonna pay 700 to $1,000 for it if you can find one. But great belt. If you can get one, you know, go for it.
Yep, and that's probably what I would price mine at, no doubt. You're going to pay for that WWF. There's no question about it. And to find one in good shape as well is tough.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
no, absolutely, no question. Brandon, what do you think, man?
Yeah, like what you're saying to that, Rob, it is really hard to find one in mint condition. I got lucky. I've held two of these. One wasn't in the best of shape. I ended up selling it, and then Jeff Levin there came in clutch for me with this version right here. But you gotta appreciate this belt. A lot of good tag teams held this belt. My favorite, Dudley Boys, and you can't forget the iconic TLC match with the Hardy Boys. That was probably one of the best tag team matches you'll ever watch. If you haven't watched it yet, for the fans, go watch it. You won't be disappointed. But in that sense, though, yeah, if you can get your hands on one of these, get it. Like I said, and that's the whole thing. Casey will vouch for this. Jamie will vouch for this. If you're looking, most people, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, and you're looking to sell these, you're gonna get your money's worth for these. Especially if it's in mint condition, because like I said, there's only three of us that have the entire collection, so that just tells you in itself how genuine and how rare these belts are, and we appreciate that. Like I said, given the leather, given the 2mm plates, like I said, and that's what, like we were talking about in the last video with the hardcore episode, you're gonna have makers that are want it's 4mm now instead of 2mm, so it's going to be better. Well, that's not the whole point of buying a belt. So everybody has their own opinion, everybody has their own beliefs, but in the sense, if you get your F logo, then you're winning. So like I said, Rob, you got it. Casey, you got it. Jamie, you got it. So you guys already know what's going on.
Yeah,
absolutely, and
and
it's
like
a rarity.
and like Brandon was saying, they're like investments almost. Once you buy it, you're gonna get for sure your money back in a few years, and probably even go. It's only gonna go up from there, especially if it's in a good condition, like most of you guys have. It's like an investment. But moving on to a super rare belt too, is the WWF Hardcore version 1, the all red version. There it is. And this one's super unique. Not too much, no blue paint on it, no yellow paint, just red paint all over. It's just such a cool design. I mean, I absolutely love it. It's almost like blood just splattered all over it. I love that design. You can see where the old plates were. It's almost like a white paint or a silver paint. Love that detail. The tape looks amazing. The Hampion, of course. I think it's amazing. Rob, do you have it?
The blue.
The blue, right. Now, what do you think about the red version?
I love the red too. I absolutely do. I mean, and as we were talking about in the hardcore episode, I mean, this also holds true to my heart as well, because when I think of this belt, I think of a few people here. I think of Mick Foley, of course, Crash Holly, of course. I mean, Crash Holly, I think about when I think of this belt. It's not the same as the 24/7 championship. I get it. What WWE was trying to do here, they were trying to relive the moments here, and they didn't want to copy what they were doing. I mean,
Well, why change it? Why
change it? Bring back hardcore. Bring back hardcore. And I got to tell you guys, I mean, I'm sorry about that 24/7 championship with the fucking circle, like the circular plates. The green strap is cool. That's about it. I like the belt. I like this belt. You got, like, and as these three guys know, these three guys do own this belt. It is a hard belt to find as well. This I would pretty much rank it as one of the rare ones out there. I totally would. I mean, and I think Casey was the unique one here, because I remember seeing his unboxing. He got this brand spanking new. Casey, do you want to say more about that?
Actually, yeah, I do. If you guys saw me writing a while ago, that's what I was writing down, was key elements to that, because in the episode that you guys did about the hardcore title, y'all mentioned the 2006 re-release. Now, I know that I'm the one that brought that up to you guys. I don't know if y'all had any knowledge on that prior, but that's an area that's going to have a lot of confusion, because some people would think that this is what that is because you said I got it brand new, which I did. But those 2006 re-releases, those were a surplus of the 2001s. So they just threw a raw bag with it. I believe it was a Intercontinental bag they threw with it that had the Raw logo on it. Those were done after, God, probably not even 250 of them. So the story with mine goes back to my relationship that I had with A&J's belts for several years. John had me on the waiting list for several belts. I was going to be contacted if he ever came into possession of certain ones that I was looking for. And one day, digging through his old warehouse, he found this case that had, I think there were like 10 of these in it that were still sealed in plastic. And he got a hold of everybody that was looking for one, and everybody that was on the waiting list bought theirs, and then the rest were released to the public. So, yeah, these were brand spanking new, untouched. You see right there that all the stickers that are the hardcore and champion letters, they're still intact. Part of the E came off of my core there. But I did write the WWF in there. I did put the property plate on after the fact. Notice the gold tip on there. It's very strange. It's kind of like the one that came on the WCW TV replica.
Yeah.
This red, I never understood why they went with the red. And yes, this is the 2001, like I did mention. I forgot to say that on the back it does have an 01 stamp. But everything is original as it should be. The red, it was advertised as that brownish blue strap, if you guys remember that correct. That's how it was advertised in the catalog. So a little bit of inaccuracy there, but I mean, who cares? This thing is unique. Every re-release of the Hardcore Championship prior to this version all had the blue. This one reminds me more of like what Al Snow and Raven held there toward the end, because there's barely any plates on it. Matter of fact, the plate layout and pieces are the exact same as it was in late 2001. I did get Al Snow to sign it, as you see there. So hardcore title's always been very, very cool to me. Kane held it. I loved hardcore Kane. Yeah, I love the hardcore title. As Rob said, the 24/7 title doesn't hold a candle to it. Nothing beats the hardcore era, and nothing beats the 2001 Fig Zing version.
Yeah,
Be right back.
Yep, totally agree. Since Jamie's out, so Brandon, why don't you say about this belt? I know we had you on for the hardcore episode, but love the belt anyway. Again, what do you think?
Yeah, again, this belt is one of the top three belts out of the line. Casey does have the original stickers on mine. How I told you guys, I'm OCD. So when it was released with the black tape, around the one side, I of course went and did that. I mimicked to the exact T of the belt, which I showed you guys. Again, this is one of the most iconic belts. Great matches. People who held it, like you said, Rob, Crash Holly, one of the most funniest and one of the most favorable hardcore champions that held the belt. Raven, like you said, also another awesome hardcore champion. I believe he is before the 24/7 title. He was the most. He had held the title the most. I believe it was over 27 times. I believe he held the belt. Yeah, he was the sole winner of that before they changed it to the 24/7. But yeah, Al Snow again, awesome. That held it. I told you guys I ran down the line of matches and who had won it. And so it's top belts. Can't argue with that. Just it's a beautiful belt. Love it.
Totally agree. Jamie, what do you think, man?
So, I'm actually I've actually got mine right here, my deluxe version. I mean, really, this belt is I'm glad to have it in my collection, but it is terrible. It is a terrible replica belt, and the reason why I say that is, I mean, there's almost no full plates to the belt in general, which I understand it's a hardcore belt, totally get that, but like I remember when this belt came out, as far as selling point, it was still the same price as like a Big Eagle or an IC or whatever, and you're missing everything, and you see a belt with duct tape, you know, for $200 or $250 or whatever it was. Yeah, I do enjoy the different like dye in the strap, and from the best of my knowledge, like I don't think any of the hardcore belts that the WWF versions, I don't even know if the WWE versions are the same, but it's almost like they all have their uniqueness to them as far as the coloring and the straps. Nothing's the same, so it's unique, and that's one cool thing to have the when it comes to collecting, having something like that. So on mine, the duct tape is correct. It's never been changed, but I think somebody took like fingernail polish, remover, and removed the text from, as you can see from Casey, the picture up on top. The letters are thicker. These, it looks like somebody, just wrote them in there.
Threw it on there, yeah.
They're not on there, but it is a deluxe. The strap is a deluxe, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but there is an R there. It might be kind of hard to see, but it is a replica or a deluxe replica. Overall, I'm glad to have it in my collection. There was a big wave of people really being interested in this belt. I would say the deluxe version that I have is a lot harder to find just because it's deluxe. But occasionally you see the replicas pop up here and there. Not often. But it's not a great belt, but if you're a Fig Zinc fan, you got to get it.
That's exactly it. Just throw it in there. That's exactly how I feel. And
and that's exactly how I feel about this next belt, the Scratch Logo Light Heavyweight title. I prefer the block logo. I mean, the block logo on the red strap, to me, looked way better. This one just doesn't do it for me. Not at all. I mean, I didn't like this design too much to begin with. I talked about it in the Cruiserweight and the Light Heavyweight episode. But the red strap at least added a bit more to it for me, plus the block logo, of course. This one, though, I can't enjoy this one. Rob, what do you think?
I tell you, Max, when you're talking about this belt, you probably have four other guys here that absolutely love
Oh yeah.
this belt, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
no question about it. And I can see their reactions right now with this belt, and I know that they do. If I were to comment on the belt, I think it's an amazing belt. I really do. It just, when I think about this belt, I mean, I think of Dean Malenko. I mean, I absolutely do. I think about this belt. I think Dean Malenko. I love the uniqueness of the main plate. It's like a shield, like you're going to battle. Like it really is. Like it's just incredible. And then the four side plates that are there. I mean, it's incredible. But if we talk about rarity with this belt is really rare. I find it's become more rare. It absolutely has. I saw one listed, I believe, once for, I believe it was up to 850 US. I've seen it as low as 600 US. But I mean, if you think that you have one, guys, and I'm talking to the universe here, if you think that you have one on eBay, let's just say you think you have a Fig Zinc, I gotta tell you, probably 95% chance to 97% chance you have a bootleg. I'm sorry, but this one is really hard to find. The three gentlemen here will attest to that. I am sure that this one is a very rare belt, and they will also probably agree with me that it is one of their favorite belts. But anyways, Casey, go for it. What do you think?
I don't even know where to start. As some of you guys may know, I know Jamie knows this for a fact. This is my all-time favorite belt. Nothing tops this for me. This is number one, has always been for me since I very first got into belts. This will always be my number one. And it's simply for the fact that, like you mentioned, but in different words, Rob, this belt is an example of simplicity being beautiful. The shields, like you said, it's like going into battle. The light heavyweight division was WWE's attempt, or excuse me, WWF's attempt at competing with WCW's cruiserweights. Now, let's be honest, nobody's going to hold a candle to the 1990s WCW cruiserweight division. Let's give it to them. They earned that. However, this belt just always screamed tops for me. Now, I do love the red version. The red version is absolutely gorgeous. It had the block logo. The block logo fit so much better on this belt, but I'm very, very biased to the version that you're looking at on the screen right now. That one is the one that I saw first and fell in love with, and I believe Jeff Hardy was holding it whenever I fell in love with this belt. And it also, on TV, it had the WWF logo was painted white with a red swoosh under it, but that was mainly in 2001. In 99 and 2000, it did not have it. It was gold, just like you see it right here. There are some differences with this belt versus the rest of the 2001 line. The male snap box, just like with the Big Eagle, you had the strange count of the female snaps at 2x6. On this one, you've got a 2x7 male snap set versus a 2x8, as you'd see on all the other ones. Even the Women's Championship has a 2x8. This one's got a 2x7. Now, don't quote me on that on the women's title, because I'm going to turn around and count it in a second. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be very, very embarrassed. But nonetheless, this belt is an absolute favorite. So many great memories with this belt. This is what got me into wanting to be a belt collector. You mentioned the rarity. I've actually owned 3 of these in my lifetime. This is the best condition one that I have. I got this belt. You're not going to believe it, because, I mean, look at that pristine condition. I got this belt for 250 US.
Yeah, you stole it. You stole it. You stole it.
I am only the second owner of this belt, and I bought it in 2015.
You stole it. Good job. Good job.
Last thing I got to say about it is I love this belt. People out there may criticize me for it because this belt does get a lot of heat. But if you own this, consider yourself a belt god, because you've got one of the top 5 rarest replicas that exist.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's a beautiful replica. And I know that the next person I'm about to say what they think about it, I heard that it's also his favorite, Jamie. What do you think of it?
This belt is one of my favorite belts in my collection. Like I love Dean Malenko, and when I see this belt, when I saw this belt, like I immediately, when I saw it, I immediately thought of him, and it's just the the center plate, I think, is very well done. It's very simple, but it's got a great design to it. The side plates, the four side plates being the same, I'm not really that much of a fan of, but the center plate, it takes care of all the things that I don't like about it, for sure. But my version is a deluxe.
Mm-hmm. Rarity.
Very, very hard to find. Mine is supposedly, number 12 of 1,000. So 12 of 1,000, there is there is not many of these floating around as far as in the deluxe version. So I purchased mine on eBay probably 5 years ago, something like that. I think I paid $700 for it 5 years ago.
Wow.
But I couldn't resist. I had to have it. I was building my deluxe line, and I wanted to have something that nobody else had. And but I'm so happy with this belt. It's one of my favorite belts. The strap is really nice too. Surprisingly, I've got no cracks, no bubbling. It's I don't know what WWE did different with this strap compared to the other ones, but mine is really nice, and plates are great. Yeah, I can't say. For the most part, I can't really say anything bad about this belt. I mean, I wish they did change up the side plates a little bit, but I love it, and I'm glad it's in my collection. And if you can get one, get one. They're extremely hard to find, but it's well worth it. It's a great investment.
And it's kind of like, when we were talking, when we had Casey on here for the Hogan 86, and we were talking about, it reminds me of, I've got the Ultra Deluxe Hogan 86. You don't see that too often with a COA. I don't think I know of anyone else, Jamie, and I got to be honest here, that has a deluxe light heavyweight other than yourself with the COA. So I believe you're in another class of your own.
Thank you.
So
we're not worthy.
Absolutely amazing. So incredible. Brandon, what do you think? I know you like this belt as well, man.
As you guys know, this is my favorite of my favorite belts. The first guy, Taka Michinoku, fucking man. He was the first ever light heavyweight champion. Then you got, Crash Holly. He had one of my favorite matches was Dean Malenko versus Scotty 2 Hottie. That was a really good match. That had a little feud, switch hands a couple times. And then Taka had lost the belt to Christian. That was also another good match. But with Jamie, what you're talking about, the side plates, they are the same, but they are different. You got one that's smaller than the other. Now, if you go to the bootlegs, and you can also tell if it's a bootleg, both the side plates are the same. So that's another way you can distinguish the figs from the regular there. And then with the red version, that would be one of the bootlegs I would definitely put in with my figs collection. If you find a really good maker and you can get it. The red strap with the gray backing, that was a beautiful belt. It had the yellow WWF block logo at the top, painted. It was, like I said, one of the it's one of the coolest, most rarest belts. Funny story. I was getting into the belt collecting, and I saw one of these on eBay signed by Tajiri. It was on auction. It got up to like $450, I think, was the price on it. And I had missed out because I was new to this, and I didn't know how the whole auction thing went, so I missed out on it. So literally 2 hours later, another light heavyweight Figs Inc. dropped. It was in a bid. I automatically dropped $250 on it. It was at like 130. I hit 250 on it. Boom, ended up going for like 267 or 467. And I ended up getting it, and I cannot be any more thrilled. It is mint, as you can see. Mint condition. It's a beautiful belt. Like Jamie said, he's got one of the rare. But if you can afford, and if you can come across this belt, like I said, this is the holy mecca, holy grail right here. For it being how small it is, that's the one thing people will complain about. It's a small belt. Well, cruiserweights weren't big, so they didn't need a big belt to carry around. So in that sense, yeah, I like it. I love it. Can't really hate on it too much. And the cool thing, it had World Wrestling Federation. That'd probably be the highlight of the belt too, which is really cool. You don't really see the World Wrestling Federation on the Figs Inc. belts. You got your European one that has it, but other than that, I don't. They're in the women's Intercontinental. Okay, so you had a few that had it on there, but with like that very bright block, you could tell. Like I said, with the European, you got the white, so you can distinguishedly tell what it was. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. I love the belt. Can't hate on it. It's a great belt.
And we talk about prices, right? And if you can afford it, and I mean, as you guys know, and I think maybe some of you do, I was willing to drop $2,300 US on a belt just recently on a shop belt. If I had the opportunity, I would get this in a heartbeat. I don't even care. An amazing belt. I'd throw it on my wall. Here we go, and that's it. I'd find room. I don't care. I love this belt. I know, Max, when you were saying about this, I was like, I know he doesn't like this belt, but you got 4 others that love this. So anyways.
I gotta say one thing. After listening to everyone talk about how much they love this belt and how it's their favorite belt, I still hate it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like
I think it was the era, Max.
No.
Era you grow up.
Disregarding the history, speaking just specifically on design, looking at the red version, way better. Like, one thing I noticed, the main plate in the black strap just seems so bland to me. On the red version has the yellow logo on the top. I love that little bit of pop of color. Also on the replica, I'm not sure if it's lighting, but it looks like the globe is a bit of a darker shade of blue.
It is darker compared to the side plates there. It is a little.
Yeah, I hate that.
Darker.
I wish it was all like baby blue all the way around. I don't like that at all. Red strap, I think, looks way better. Love the gray backing. Side plates, I don't like the yellow banners. I like the yellow WWF block logo and the black banners. I think that's way better. So yeah, I like the red one a lot better. I know you guys are just praising this version, but yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Mark my words. Mark my words. It's coming. It's coming to the WWE shop. I don't know if it's going to be red. I don't know if it's going to be black. Don't know if it's going to be block. Don't know if it's going to be scratch.
If it's black, I will continue to hate on it. If it's red, I love it.
I have a feeling it's going to be black because they're going to continue the scratch logo. But mark my words, it's going to happen.
And also, if Casey says it's going to happen, it really will happen. Yeah. That's the freaky part about that thing.
The 3D big gold. 3D big gold is next. Watch.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
Now, moving on to the next version is the WWF Attitude Era Women's Title. What do you guys think about this, Rob?
And I mean, we were commenting this on the women's episode with Wayne, with Balor Fan 85. Now, I understand with respect to this belt that if you have the whole 2001 Figures Inc. line, you need to definitely get this belt. There's absolutely no question. With respect to it, though, I have to be honest here. It doesn't do a lot for me. There's too much leather happening there with respect to the distance. And again, I'm talking about the fucking distance from the main plate. Look at the distance on the side plates. It's like they don't belong. And then and there's a lot of other crap that's happening here. And then it was brought to my attention that the main plate, it's like a jaw, like teeth, like opening up like a mouth. And I don't understand why they're doing that, and they're doing that as well on the side plates as well. I just don't get it. The color contrast here with the WWF and then the women's is just, I don't know. Guys, I really got to be honest here. When I do think about this belt, I think about a lot of people, though. I think about Trish Stratus, of course. I know, Casey, you had a belt signed by Trish. You'll get into that. Lita, I think of Lita. Molly Holly, I think of all those ones. Would I still have it? Yeah, of course I would. Of course I'm going to have it because I would throw it in the whole 2001 Figs Inc. line. I still would own this belt. Why would you own all the other belts and not own this belt to complete the collection? I mean, right. It's astronomical. Anyways, Casey, what do you think about it?
So I can actually give you an up-close view of this because not only do I have one, I've got two.
Ooh, there we go.
So, like you said, that distance between the side plates to the main plate, it's an astronomical distance. Main plate, super small. Yeah, look at that. I don't have humongous hands either. Here, look, soda can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very small belt, but like you said, this is one that if you're going to own that entire 2001 line, why wouldn't you own this? This is a part of that. Now, as you can see in the pictures there, this version hanging up does have the property plate. This one does not. I feel like the property plate is necessary on this belt, and I know that it's not accurate because it actually used the Smoke and Skull property plate, if you guys recall, that said a JMR 98. So,
yeah.
That being said, I feel like it needs a property plate on this just to make it more than what it actually is. Kind of disappointed that I've only got the square version from Figs Inc. I really wish they would have done a more accurate one. And I really wish I could find one for this, but A&J's Belts is sold out of them, so the best I'm going to be able to do is a gold tip. That's another thing. Gold tip adds a lot of character to this belt. I think of some of the greats like Rob mentioned, like Trish and Lita. I did have the belt that's shown in the picture signed by Trish. I believe it was underneath the property plate, but yeah, I did take that off because I didn't get it signed by her, so that didn't hold any sentimental value to me. I may catch a lot of backlash from the belt community for that, but when it comes to my Attitude belts, I only want those signed for my personal reasons. I get those personalized to me, so if I didn't get that signed, it just doesn't work for me. I do plan on getting it re-signed, absolutely. This one as well, and maybe, I don't know, maybe frame it.
Fair. Jamie, what do you think about the belt?
I'm not a really big fan of the belt. I think like as far as the design of the belt, I think it really wasn't planned out very well. As you can tell from, the outline of the center, yeah, about the bite marks, it resembles a lot of the Smoking Skull belt, in my opinion. And I think the way the women's text, it kind of resembles lips or something like that. Again, my opinion, but I am not a fan of this belt. I think WWE could have did a lot better. With a women's replica, or just a women's belt in general at that time. Not a fan, but I had to have it in my collection, and I made it happen. And if they never made one, I would not be upset. And so that's just kind of where I stand.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Nice to hear that you guys have the same thoughts on this belt as I do. I don't feel as bad. Brandon, what do you think?
This is just a belt you got to have in your collection. If you own the line, I know Casey and Jamie will say that also. Not a huge fan of it. It does have a lot of similarities to the Smoking Skull. I know Sable, was she the first one to hold the belt? If I'm correct.
Yeah, maybe.
I believe she was. So I don't know if she had any say in the belt, because I know she had a barbed wire tattoo, correct, around her arm, or she had something to deal with barbed wire. I can't remember, unless that's Pam Anderson. I'm thinking maybe Pamela Anderson, but it, like I say, if it's in your collection, I know what. There was a cool part, I guess, when Stephanie McMahon had it, when Triple H,
Jacqueline
was the first ever.
Wow. Wow.
She had barbed wire tattoo, but I think it was a pretty cool moment when Triple H was the world champion and Stephanie was the women's champion, and they had walked down the stage with his new music. Spit in the water, and they both were champions. I think that was a pretty cool little moment there, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh my god, I need this belt. If you get a girlfriend or somebody that appreciates, like Casey here, and they you could just give it to them, like, hey, here you go, now you're the women's champion. But this was a really it's a cool belt. I mean, you got like the different backing, you got the brown backing to it, which is pretty different. So it's a women's belt, so it's small. The design, there's a lot going on with the design of the belt. The one cool thing though that I like about it is the I don't know what you call that, Casey. The plating, the plating, how it had like the scale to it almost. That's pretty cool.
It reminds me of nugget texturing.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, it's the belt that you got to have in your collection to complete it. So
9 mil
snaps.
9 mil snaps.
But yeah, I mean, that's about it. We really can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I think this design is from Jamar. I mean, again, disregarding the history, is kind of just lazy. I feel like he just recycled the Smoking Skull design, and just
It's
it
funny. It's funny that you mentioned Jamar, because look at the bottom center photo and look at the bottom center of the center plate and tell me what you see.
Yeah, it's the barbed wire going around from the Smoking Skull.
Nope, look up. But between the border and the design of the main plate, there in the black paint, what do you see?
Does it say Jamar?
It's supposed to be. It says
Bottom?
It says TSJNAR. It's supposed to be Jamar.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just seems sloppy to me. It's just kind of thrown together. It doesn't scream women's champion to me. In my opinion, the women's title should be at the same level. Of course, it isn't. I mean, historically, it wasn't really seen as the same level as a world title. Now, a bit better, but I think the design should represent more of a world champion, women's world champion. You see the current titles like the NXT Championship, Women's Championship, same design as the NXT Men's Championship, or the SmackDown and Raw women's titles. They're similar to the world title to show the importance. To me, this is kind of just like they didn't care, but I understand the history behind it and why people like this. I don't mind the design. I just wish it was more creative. Now, moving on from the figures line, we're going to show some WWE shop versions, which are like alternatives.
Hold on, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. I need to go to bed.
For sure,
No
for
worries.
sure.
You take care, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on this episode, Jamie, and we'll
thank you
hopefully
very
have you
much.
soon again.
Take it easy,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, take it. All right, bye.
All right, just be the four of us for I'd say the worst part, the WWE shop versions. Now, some of these are not bad, but some of them I'm really gonna hate on them. That
I
first
will
one
too,
is
don't worry.
the WWE scratch logo Big Eagle. I hate this. I hate this with a passion. Look at that main plate. Fuck sakes, it's flat as a pancake. It's flatter than my dinner plate. It's ridiculous. I don't understand the thought process between for making this. Like, look at such a flat main plate, and then you look at the strap, stitching all over. I mean, the Figures Inc. strap looks better than this one. It just looks stitched on snap box. I hate that. You see them remaking so many belts like the Winged Eagle, the Undisputed, and just making a better version. And then this version is still looking like shit. I'm sorry, but it is. Casey, you do own this belt. So what do you think about it?
Well, as you said, flat as a pancake. There you see it right there. The level of inaccuracies that come with this replica is absolutely absurd. Take a look. Not only can you see it there on mine, but look on the pictures there on the screen. Look at the globe. Look up by just a little bit north of British Columbia. You see that? The whole square is gold.
God.
The whole square is gold. What the hell is that?
Laziness.
Like they seriously just added like 8,000 square kilometers to British Columbia.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Max. I'm really gonna hit home on this belt. A lot of inaccuracies as well, and I got to tell you guys. I mean, as you know, we've been in the belt collecting game for a while, so we know all of the inaccuracies. We know all of that stuff. I love the people though, and I got to be honest. On the Facebook groups, another gentleman was selling the WWF 2001 Figs Inc. line, and then this guy came out, and I'm hoping this guy's watching. I'm not going to mention his name, of course, but he came out and said, "Oh, too overpriced, bro." And I'm like, well, that is priced accordingly. And he's like, well, I got it on WWE Shop, the $4 million. Dude, I mean, be honest here, that piece of crap doesn't compare to the Figures Inc. line. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I mean, you're a rookie in the belt collecting hobby. You are. I mean, I don't know what to say, bro. I think I feel sorry for you that you don't know all the knowledge, and maybe you should think before you comment stupid ass shit on a Facebook group. Okay.
A lot of people should do that.
Yeah, really. This version, gentlemen, I'm sorry, I would never own it.
God, no.
And I'll be honest also, it never goes on sale that much.
I don't know.
Does it? Does it? Because I don't think it does. Brandon, what do you
I
think,
don't see
man?
too much.
I mean, it never even made TV. They pretty much blacked out the F to get it out there. But I wasn't a fan of the WWE versions. It's literally the same thing, but with the W on it. But like I said, it never made TV, so it wasn't one of my favorite ones, or nor I needed to have it. I know if you're like Casey, you have to have every single one to complete the line. So that'd be the only reason why, if I were to collect these, would just to collect the the WWE versions. But other than that, hard pass.
Yeah. And as for us folk up here in Canada, when we say it's as flat as Saskatchewan. But anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on from this one. Another replica that I would never ever get, the WWE Smoking Skull. I mean, it's 5mm, sure. The strap, I mean, at least it looks like the Figs Inc. strap. There's not too many huge differences, no tooling at all. It's fine, I guess. I really don't like this belt at all. It's okay. Like you said, you were talking about earlier, it has the swoosh under. I don't know why they did that. I mean, you don't want to go with the WWF logo, that's fine. Just why'd you add the swoosh? It doesn't make sense to me. Just do WW. Don't understand that at all. It's stupid, in my opinion. Don't like this at all. Rob?
I agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why I flip and sold it. I hated it. I absolutely did. It didn't go with my collection. If I was going to get this, guys, it would be the WWF 2001 Figures Inc. replica belt, no doubt. The strap is a weird texture. it's just a weird ass texture. And I got to be honest, like if you were to imprint it, you will see that imprint for the cow until the cows come home. It is a different type of strap that they put on this. The only thing that's cool about it is the backing, is that the snakeskin backing. I mean, I like that. And I'll be honest, the 5mm is a lot better than the 2mm. We'll call it 0.25mm because it's really 0.25. But I mean, for me myself, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. No, the color is just there's no color to it, and the swoosh is stupid. But anyways, other than that, since I shot on the belt, Casey.
So going straight to that logo issue, like you just mentioned and Max mentioned before, the swoosh, it's not necessary, and I know you can't really see it that well in the video here, but let me just grab the one off the shelf and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look at the outermost side plate. You're not supposed to have that swoosh under the WWF logo. It's only supposed to be under the Attitude Era. So now it just makes it...
It's just redundant.
It makes no sense to me. So there's all of this space that's just been filled up with extra paint that they didn't need. They have extra black paint on this build. They have the extra swooshes. It doesn't make any sense. You can't go wrong with the Figs ink. However, the detail on this one, I do have to give it credit. The detail is very, very crisp. Everything came out really, really nice with the details. The strap, though, oh my God, it feels like a piece of rubber.
Yeah.
The backing is very, very cool. It's nothing like the Figs ink. You mentioned that 0.25mm piece of crap that they released on Shop in recent years. I own that. Holy mother of God, what a piece of shit. Yeah. It was the thinnest possible plate, possibly thinner than the 2014 U.S. title.
Ugh.
And you couldn't even curve the son of a bitch without a ratchet strap. Like, you would literally have to tie a ratchet strap around it, get that damn thing as tight as you could get it, then tie that to the back of your car and go on a cross-country trip just to get it a slight curve.
Yeah. Totally agree. Brandon, what do you think, man?
Same thing as you guys. Just, I mean... not a fan of it. I get it. It was never on TV, so I never had a need or want for it. One thing though, what is it? That is the most, that I've seen that belt the most on eBay, all these belt groups. Nobody wants this belt, and I think once they see it and they want it, because you can't find the WWF version, so they're going with the second best. And then so when they get it, they see it, they don't like it, and then they flip it really quick because of that. Yeah. So like I said, that's probably one of the most common belts you'll see on these belt groups going for sale. So not a fan of it. The only cool thing is the snake skin like the original. But other than that, yeah, hard pass.
Yeah, it doesn't do for us. Moving on to God. I mean, I didn't like the WWF, but at least that one made sense with the titles and everything. This one has a fucking nameplate, and then the Intercontinental Champion is all jammed in there. I mean, 5mm plate's fine, whatever. They're hollow anyways. Detail looks good, but the jewels look decent. But why is the nameplate just... it doesn't need to be there. The Intercontinental and the Champion just jammed in there. Rob?
I'm going to shit on this fucking belt. Okay, I'm about to. So you guys, and we know from the Intercontinental episode, but anyways, I got a real problem with this belt. For instance, the Intercontinental Champion is on one fucking line. It looks like it's totally squeezed together. The nameplate doesn't belong. The WWE logo looks like it's out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, give me a break here. Like, what are they trying to pull here with this bullshit? I never liked this version of the belt. And I know, Casey, I know you have this belt, and I'm probably have taken a big ass shit on it. I totally have. The only thing I like about this belt is that I don't own it.
Oh, God.
Is that I don't own it. Casey, what do you think?
So, yeah, I own it. I got it right here. But do I have great things to say about it? Aside from the snap boxes not being stitched on and the detailing of the plates, This isn't good. It's very good quality, but the inaccuracies, they're there. So this is supposed to be what is nicknamed the Oval IC. That's not an oval. That's a damn eyeball or an almond or something else that I don't know if I should say on this channel if I turn it this direction. But that's not a freaking oval. It almost looks like an egg. And a lot of people pointed that out whenever this first got released in 2019 is it's not a damn oval. You put it next to the Intercontinental, which is right here. If I can pop it out.
Oval.
One's an oval. One's a freaking egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stones though, like the stones, you look at those, they're very, very nice quality. They're almost realistic looking. But no, other than that, it's just all over the place. I don't like the logo being crammed together. It looks like it's one word, Intercontinental Champion.
No, I agree.
Don't like that. I mean, World Wrestling Entertainment, even though it's compressed into a small space there, it still has spacing between the damn words. You literally have Intercontinental Champion as one word.
No,
Like,
I totally agree.
I like the belt. I definitely don't love it. I give it 6 out of 10.
Oh, you're so generous with that too.
Yeah.
Brandon, what do you think, man?
I would personally get the nameplate to say garbage and then send it back.
I absolutely agree. Commenting a little bit more on the belt. I mean, I know that we're about to move into the next replica, but just give one sec. But with respect to this, I'm really thinking here that they could have done a lot better. They really could have done a lot better. And I mean, I get it. I know what they were up against is because of them going from WWF to WWE. I get that. You know, what are they able to do? They've got this belt, right? The WWF logo. They've chopped off the F. They don't have a lot of the logo, so it looks like the logo standing in the middle of in the hell of nowhere. But I don't agree with this Intercontinental Champion being on one line. I mean, one line and with a nameplate. I mean, I don't think it belongs with a nameplate. I don't think that this belt should have a nameplate. I really don't. I mean, I don't know if I'm out to lunch, but I mean, what you guys think?
No, I definitely agree. The nameplate, it adds too much, I guess, being blank in this picture, you could call it negative space. It adds a little too much negative space there. And another thing that I want to add to it is this is advertised as the Attitude Era Intercontinental. Bullshit. That is Ruthless Aggression version 2.
Totally.
If you remember Figs Inc., it was around late 2011. They released the Figs Inc. version 2, and it was this exact belt. So this ain't Attitude Era. This is Ruthless Aggression. And if you go over to my good buddy 1990 Hardy 1's channel, he had this belt several years ago, and he unboxed it on his YouTube channel. And that was 2011. So this is definitely a Ruthless Aggression belt. So I don't know why they're trying to market this as Attitude Era, because anybody that knows anything knows this isn't the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Moving on to the WWE Scratch Logo European. Speaking of inaccuracies, this one's full of inaccuracies. I mean, it has nice green backing, I guess. Texture's off fully. There's no Italian flag. Rob, what do you think about this?
Oh God, I tell you, and I mean, you know, this was around the time that they were releasing all these replicas, and that they just flipping released them, and then they lost a lot of the mark on a lot of them. And I remember when this one was released, that globe, the inconsistencies in the fucking globe that came up on Hazard F5's review of this. I mean, if you want to go watch reviews, go watch Hazard F5. He'll point out all the inconsistencies anyway.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I don't like it. I don't. I never liked the WWE version. I don't like that it goes from the top of the logo down to the globe, but the World Wrestling Entertainment is painted in gold. I don't like that. I think that the WWF version having the World Wrestling Federation in white really gives it a nice contrast between the logo and between that and the globe. The banner's okay, but I mean, if you really wanted to look at the banner, guys, and we mentioned this on the European episode, look at those letters. Though it looks like a fucking kid. You see, like how they wrote those letters: the U, the E, the U, the R, the O, PEAN. Inconsistencies with the level of the writing, I don't like it as well. The inconsistencies with the flag, I don't like it as well. You can tell I don't like this version.
And
Case,
you're talking about the writing before Casey. Let me interrupt you guys. The spacing between the A and the H for the champion. What the hell is that? And then the U, it looks like someone cut it off and skinny. It doesn't make sense. It's like when you're using a marker and then you go the thick side and then do the skinny side at the end. It really doesn't make sense what they were doing here. I don't understand what they were thinking.
No, and the rookie belt collectors are not going to pick that up. That's exactly it. They're not going to pick that up. Yeah, Casey, what you have the version? What do you think?
So you mentioned those things with the lettering and spacing. So mine looks better. So clearly the one that they took the stock photos of had very, very sloppy paint.
Yeah.
Mine looks better. The inaccuracies are all over the place. First and foremost, look at the Irish flag. I mean, I know it's meant to be an Irish flag down there. It's not an Irish flag. I've tried to look it up, and if you're in this country and you're watching this video, I do apologize if I butcher the name, but I live in Oklahoma in the United States, and we are not the best with grammar around here, so I do apologize, but it is actually the flag of Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
I've never heard of that. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
I guess
the flag is wrong.
For wrestling when it comes,
See, it would be more accurate if maybe they swapped out the flag of Romania with that, because later versions of this belt did actually have the Irish flag in place of the Romanian. I think it was the one that had the black logo. I might be mistaken, but that's how I remember it. But the absence of the Italian flag, and I never understood why they had two German flags. You've got two French flags. What else is there? Multiples of there. That might be all the multiples.
Yeah, it was on the bottom right.
Is that Portugal?
They had the same flag.
They have the same flag.
Right.
The one on the right side on the bottom, is that bottom right hand side of the belt? Is that the flag of Portugal? There's one on the very bottom as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Portugal.
Yeah. So they the laziness right there. And that's honestly going to be on Jamar right there. And it's no mystery that Jamar did cut a lot of corners with things. Like earlier you mentioned the different colors of the original belts was because he didn't have the leather to do it. And I'm not trying to say any shit on Jamar. I love Jamar and everything that he did. But he did not pay too much attention to detail and stuff like that. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that Vince McMahon let that get through the door. However, they absolutely missed the mark from shop. But I still like it nonetheless because they did get one thing right, and that was the red logo box. Because now you don't got to sit there and spend 2-3 hours of your time stripping black paint off and redoing it red and just coat after coat to make it blend. But everything else sucks.
No. I mean, I literally took this belt and I literally took a massive shit on it, and I will to do so. I'll drain myself. I don't care. Brandon, what do you think, man?
Like I told you guys earlier, they made it too heavy. It was never originally heavy. Too gaudy for me. Like you said, the globe was really weird looking. I held the belt. I had the belt. I had sold it before I had gotten my Attitude Era one. They try to mimic the Figs Inc. line with this one, I think. The green backing, like I said, it just didn't feel right when I held it. I like to, if I hold a belt, it's got to have some sort of meaning or love or passion for it, and I wasn't feeling it, so I flipped that thing real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, a lot of mishaps with it, a lot of vivid detail that they just laziness. So, like you said, you're going to find that more with these belts now than, with Figs Inc. They actually, took the time to make sure everything was to the T, I think. So, like I said, it's just one of those belts. Like, if you have to have it, you get it for your collection, but not one of the belts I'm going after.
Yeah, totally agree.
I think it's fair. Moving on to the WWE scratch logo classic tags. Now, it's not bad. I mean, I don't like the design too much, like I talked about it earlier, but it looks pretty well made, to be honest. The strap looks pretty good. I like the tooling there. The nameplate looks kind of flat, might be the angle, but it looks like a pretty good belt. Casey, you do own this. What do you think?
So this is the one that I have to say, out of all of them that they've re-released, this is the one that absolutely makes the mark. It hits the nail right on the head. I can't find any inaccuracies with this thing. I absolutely love this belt. There's no stitching around it, as you see from the pictures and what I'm showing you right now. Snap boxes are super clean. Like, this is just a beautifully made replica belt. And I remember seeing a video where they criticized the placement of the outer side plate. They said it was too far up. Take a look back. Take a look back if you're watching this video. Go back and look at the WWF Figures Inc. It's the exact same spacing. Even though the real belt may have not had that exact same placement, on the replica, it did come out exactly the same. This thing is exactly like the 2001 version, just with several upgrades. Thick plates are wonderful. There is a very, very slight curve to it. It's not much. It could definitely do more, but that's got to be the only thing that I can knock with this belt, because I don't even give a damn that it's a WWE logo, because they did paint the F out of there. Like Brandon mentioned earlier, they painted the one off on the Big Eagle, which that was mainly for the purpose of using it to access. But this one actually stayed on TV until the World Tag Team Championships were produced. So this is definitely one that I'm going to say, you take your pick. If you want to go 2001 Figs Inc. or this one, you're not going to make a bad choice. Personally, I got to prefer the 2001 for the nostalgia factor. It is what it is. It's super rare. But even if you just get the 2mm WWE logo Figures Inc., it's still a rare belt there. I mean, it's not as rare as the WWF, but I love this belt. I love everything about it. This is one I can't knock.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This is definitely one that they really did a really, really good job on. As you were pointing out in one of your unboxing video, Casey, you were mentioning about the swoosh, that they did a lot better job on the swoosh, that it was a bit more, I guess, more to the main plate with respect to it. The tooling is nice. I think they did a really good job. The thickness on the plates is nice. Of course, if you are going to get a belt, I mean, this is actually not a bad option. It really isn't. If I had to criticize it, and just my point of view, again, it's not everybody's point of view. I find that the cut on the upper where the logo is just a little too much. As far as the cut on the leather, there is no white stitch around the belt like there is on the 2001 Figs Inc. belt. They don't have that. Tooling is still nice, though. The plates probably, it's probably more detailed. I mean, it definitely looks like it's more detailed. You're right about the distancing on the side plate, on the outermost side plate. You are definitely right about that. I mean, would I own it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I myself would own it. I like WWF belts. I really, really do. I absolutely do. But I know that in case you said, I think you have one more thing to add on this belt.
Yes, I should have touched base on this earlier on. We're talking about quality when it comes to these replicas as well, and you can kind of tell from the pictures. Look how reflective that is. Look how shiny that is. These guys right here from Shop are fingerprint magnets. I know you've heard countless people say that in their unboxings and reviews. That's something that definitely needs to be known before we keep going and give any more praise to these things, because that is definitely a downer when it comes to these newer Shop belts. Fingerprint magnets. And what that's going to do is those oils in your skin, that's going to break down that plating over time. So if you don't want to have to worry about that, definitely stick with Figs Inc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just like never touch it at all.
Or don't touch it. No. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
Brandon.
what's the fun in not prancing around in your drawers with the belt on, being stone cold?
Exactly. That's the whole point of buying the belt.
I don't know if Brandon's here. Maybe you want to go to the next. Oh, he is
There he
here.
is.
He is. Brandon, what do you think about the belt?
Casey pointed out, I mean, it's probably one of the best looking belts that came out for Shop. Probably the only best looking belt right now, in my opinion. But yeah, I like it. Like I said, same thing. Just I'm glad they brought it back because it was at one of the belts that was on TV. I wish they would have maybe did a red backing with it. I think that would have been pretty awesome. But other than that, it's a nice belt. They did good with that one, I will say. It's about the only thing right now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Max, what do you? Yeah, let's just head to the next one.
I think it's not bad. I mean, the tooling looks good. Detail looks good. Of course, it doesn't have the WWF, but it's not really something they can't change that. If you want the WWF, go for the fake zinc, fake plates. I think it's a pretty good replica. After seeing Casey show it off, it's not bad. Now moving on to the WWE Hardcore title. Now this one isn't exactly the same as the all red version, but it's the next best thing. This is what the one they're selling currently on the WWE shop. Of course, it has the blue paint. What do you guys think about it? Casey, you do own it, so what do you think?
So this is another one that I do have to give more praise to than hate. While there are several inaccuracies with it, you can pretty much face the music that a lot of today's belts are going to have inaccuracies. It is what it is. This is a blue version. It does have some red. It's more like a burgundy, actually. It looks more like the original. It's missing the property plate. And I don't think the original actually had the property plate on it on television, but I know it still had that space, and it had that baby blue outline where it was. The gold tip is correct. It does have the sidebar to the Winged Eagle, although this is the crappy WWE Shop unattached sidebar version, which everybody just absolutely loves so much. Super thick plates. The tape, however, this is where things start to get really different. That 2001 version and even the 2010 re-release that you own, Rob, those have actual duct tape. I don't know what the hell this is. It looks and feels like medical tape, but it peels up like cheap dollar store Scotch tape.
It's like the Jack's foam hardcore belt.
Yes.
That tape.
Yes.
It literally just looks like it.
That is correct. And another thing that they did different, you see you've got the side plates here that are multiple pieces put together. That is actually what I believe this to be, is stacked plates, because I'm seeing a gap in between piece 1 and piece 2. And the screw lining does show that they did stack these plates. So WWE Shop did pay very close attention to that detail with this. All in all, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10 because, I mean, look, they've even got the holes where the screws go through. The main thing I don't like, being a replica, is the covered screws. I think that's cool. I know the people that get their belts re-leathered, they love having those screws covered. Me, I like being able to take my plates off the belt to clean them, because then you're not getting chemicals on the strap. You're not risking anything fading or getting stained. So that was definitely a miss. I think it was a great option. If WWE were to offer that maybe in a deluxe version only and then leave the standards uncovered, I think they'd really be doing a lot better there. But that's just my opinion. I like this belt. I love the 2001 version so much more, but you still can't go wrong with this one.
Yeah. I'm kind of a difference of opinion. I actually don't like this belt. I don't. As we were talking on the hardcore episode, I think the back of that main plate looks like it's burnt. It looks like it's burnt, and I don't understand why it's burnt.
Every single plate, too.
Yeah, every single plate.
Like, I don't know. I mean, you can do it on the main plate, I understand, for the world, but like every single plate.
Also, notice that they've used a matte gold plating rather than the reflective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
like they
that.
really tried to dull this thing down.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they definitely did. And then like they have a hole in there. I'm sorry, but like who wants a flipping hole in their belt?
You can see the inside of the strap too, the
You
fake
can.
strap.
You can.
It's like, fuck.
There is one thing, I mean, that if you do order this belt, not every belt is going to be the same. It's going to be different. That's what they've advertised. You are going to get a different belt, different from the rest of the belts that are released. Now, I mean, they have a backing on there probably because there's way too many damn screws that would be exposed, which is one thing. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I don't care for it. I like the other versions a lot better, but that's just my opinion. I don't know if Brandon is there to comment, but oh, he's back. Brandon, what do you think about it?
We had talked about it with the hardcore show. So I just wasn't a big fan with the black paint, like had Max had stated. The black paint over it, just kind of it's all over the place with the fake duct tape that looks like the Jack's foam hardcore belt. I do respect the side plate there, or the side piece there that has the duct tape around it. I know the Figs Inc. one didn't have that, so I think that was pretty cool that they added that in there. But like I said, other than that, it just wasn't something that caught my eye, and it just doesn't look to the level of should it just, I don't know, man. Just there's too much, like Max said, there's too much paint like on the plates.
Yeah.
Nah.
There is one thing that I do need to point out here that I don't know how the hell I forgot to mention this, because I know I did it in an unboxing, I think. Underneath, you've got that heavyweight banner. They've either fixed a major error from the original Figs Inc. belt, or they've just covered it up. And I'm going to attempt to get my Figs Inc. belt here off of the wall so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about, because this was a place that WWE, or I guess WWF Shop Zone back in the day, didn't pay attention to. The word heavyweight is royally botched. My camera might be backwards to you guys, but notice.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
I didn't know heavyweight had 2 W's.
Exactly. And it's not even covered by the duct tape. That is the original duct tape placement. It is out there in the open for the whole world.
Oops. Just like with their dual-plated heavyweight. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, I guess spelling's a little hard for them. But moving on to another belt, that is the WWE Attitude Era Women's title. This one, similar to the Figs Inc. one, I don't care for too much. I mean, thicker plate is nice. The tooling going around looks pretty good. I'm just indifferent about the design. I just don't really like it too much. But yeah, Casey, you are carrying that belt, so what do you think about it?
Well, it's small. I do have to say it's a little better detail-wise when placed against the WWF version, but once again, I got to bring up my point of this isn't Attitude Era WWE. Come on, this is Ruthless Aggression.
Yep.
This is Ruthless Aggression. If they wanted to do it accurate to the Attitude Era, they would lose that nameplate. Obviously, they can't use World Wrestling Federation, but the property plate wasn't on the original. I still think a property plate like that would look good on the WWF version, but just having that extra plate there, I feel like it adds more to it because there's more to look at. The spacing is a little bit better. The snap boxes, let's see here. The male snap, female snaps are normal, and the male snaps are 2x1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2x8 versus 2x9 on the WWF. So they've definitely changed that. The backing looks a hell of a lot better than the 2001. There's a lot more detail to it. This looks like actual croc skin, whereas the other one just looks like brown snake skin. So maybe they came down to Oklahoma and killed a copperhead for it or something. But yeah, it's a good belt. Lots of inaccuracies fixed. The faux JMR is gone from the bottom. So if you want a Ruthless Aggression women's title, by all means, pick this up. If you want an Attitude Era version, find a Figs Inc.
Brandon, what do you think about this belt?
Again, another shop belt. I like the nameplate on it. I think that's pretty cool. I see what they're trying to do with the whole nameplate thing. But again, it's a cool belt. Not something that, if you need to have it in your line, then you need to have it. But like I said, just another belt to me.
Mm-hmm. And Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Brandon. I don't care for it. The distance, again, I like that distance is a little bit better on this one. From the main plate to the side plate's a little bit better. I find that the cut on the leather, I mean, the plate doesn't fit the leather strap. Like, I mean, I find it's just really just weird. Backing, as Casey was mentioning, is a lot better. The nameplate's cool. I wouldn't get it myself, but that's how I feel.
Now that is our last belt, so that does bring us to the end of the podcast. Now, before we get our belts over the shoulder, we do have to give a quick shout out to Casey's YouTube channel, KOL Fan 93. Casey, go ahead and give a little spiel about your YouTube channel and what you're really about.
So, if you like WWE, because that's mainly the topics that I cover over there is WWE. Occasionally, I do throw some of my music in there for a cheap plug. But the KOL Fan 93 channel, I've been running that one since 2007. I do a lot of vlogs. I go to WWE live events. I've got one coming up January 17th. We're going to Monday Night Raw, so there's going to be a vlog coming from that. There's also the big WrestleMania 38 vlog that's going to be featuring Jamie, so check that out. And then we've got another special vlog coming next summer that I can't really talk about, but you'll see it later on. I'm not going to really give any spoilers, but I know one of y'all knows what I'm talking about. I see him over there nodding. But, yeah, I've got replica belt videos out the wazoo. I've been doing belt videos since 2010, I believe, is whenever I started doing those. That's pretty much how I built my name, was with replica belt videos and live event videos. And it's evolved into what it is today. And I'm very thankful for how far I've got. I'm at 1.11K right now, so about 1,100 people subbed to my channel. I know that's not a lot, but for somebody that lives in the backwoods of Oklahoma, that's a damn achievement. My channel's it's collected over 1 million collective views. So if you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I don't think you're going to regret going over there, and I think you're going to like what you're going to find. So hope you guys will join me over there, because I got some stuff coming up y'all are going to love.
Yeah, you have some great content. I remember finding your channel and just binging video after video after video. Just great content.
Well,
now, Brandon,
Brandon. I mean, that's how I got into bell collecting, was because of Casey, was KL Fan 93. So, I mean, he is the reason. If you're not subscribed to KL Fan 93, I got to ask you, what the fuck you guys doing? You guys living under a rock? Go subscribe to
Now, speaking of living under a rock, if you're not on the Facebook, Belt Addicts Anonymous, what are you even doing?
I don't know.
You gotta join it. One of the best Facebook groups for wrestling, belts, anything, advice. It's a great community we have there. Of course, I'm an admin. Casey, Rob, we're all admins there. Jamie, of course, is an admin there. We've got a great team there. We have our sales post every week, Title Tuesdays. You can find some great deals there. And you don't have to be scared about getting scammed and getting some shitty boot like United Belt Bros. We don't sell any boots on there, because it's just so many people get scammed, especially if you're new into the hobby. You can get scammed so easily with a bootleg. So we just do trades for boots, which is not as bad. And we do sell official replicas on there. So yeah, if you're looking for a deal, make sure to check that out. Now, Brandon, do you have anything you want to shout out before we head off?
Yeah, guys, got some pretty cool news. I got an email from the Tennessee Titans, and I will be making them a championship belt. So pretty ecstatic about that. Pretty excited. And then we also have a couple secret belts being revealed at the Turning Point pay-per-view Impact next week. My company's going to be unveiling some. I can't tell you who it is and what belt it is, but we got a couple that are going to be on TV. Excited about that. I got a lot of indie promotional belts that are going to be getting made and pumped out. I know you guys aren't familiar with QT Marshall. They're having an indie promotion that's going to be starting up. TSF, a tag team from AEW, got with them, and I'm going to be doing their line for their belts. So I'm going to be pretty busy here starting next year, and I'm really excited. One thing that helped me through and kind of understand this is Casey. I had maybe one belt that was in storage, and one day and I needed to clear my head, and I needed to find a hobby to get into because I had to get off all those dating apps, and I found Casey's page, and I just fell in love with what he did and how he carried himself, and he brought with the knowledge and understanding of fixing belts and the value of them. So I bought into it. I did my research, talked to people, and now him and I are one of three that have every single fixing belt. So really grateful for you guys, grateful for Addicts Anonymous. You guys helped me promote my page, get me out there. So I appreciate it. You guys, Max, Rob, all you guys are awesome. And thank you again, man, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you both, Casey and Brendan, on. Now, Rob, how do we usually end the episodes? I think I forgot this week.
Well, before we go with that, though, we want to say what we are going to be doing next week with respect to it. Now, Max, you have a belt over the shoulder. We end our episodes with a belt over our shoulder. But Max, if you want to introduce what we're going to be doing next week.
Now, the belt that I have over my shoulder, if you can't see, if you're blind, it is the NXT Championship reloaded by Ryan Richards with, of course, some Undisputed Era side plates, which are pretty rare now. Now, that is because next week, episode 22, we'll be going over every single NXT Championship. That includes the original NXT World title, the version 2 that I'm holding, every version of the women's title, the tag team titles, the North American, of course, the women's NXT tag team titles, of course, also NXT UK. And Rob, who are we having on there next week? We have a special guest co-host.
Well, as you know, we had Balor Fan 85 for the women's episode, and back in the day, he, along with a couple of other people, formed Wrestling Review Society with this other gentleman that we are going to be having here. Kevin Rodriguez will be making his debut on the Over Shoulder podcast next Sunday or Wednesday, whenever we release this. But anyways, he will be on our next episode. We're really, really excited to have him. Great belt reviews. He did those with Wayne back in the day. He's still very, very active in Wrestling Review Society. I mean, the guy interviewed Eric Bischoff, for God's sakes. I mean, like, he is really huge into this hobby. So really, really happy to have him on the episode.
And which belt do you have over your shoulder, Rob? I think you have a bit of a rare belt.
This is the under 100 released spinner. This is the one that does not have the John Cena or the word life. It has the nameplate. This is under 100 released. It is a rare belt. And I have it in my good old collection. Happy to have it over the shoulder. So,
Casey, which belt do you have?
So, in honor of the Attitude Era, what we had today, I had to go with my favorite of all time. It's the WWF Light Heavyweight. My absolute favorite. Sits perfectly on the shoulder. It's not humongous. This is my baby. I love it.
And Brandon, which one do you have over your shoulder and around your neck?
Well, given, my name, the Real Belt Collector, I figured I'd just put all of them up, I'm covered, got them all.
Covered in gold.
Covered in gold. That's exactly it.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Make sure you check out last week's episode where me and Rob went over all the AEW titles and the history behind it. Check out next week where we're going over the history of the NXT Championship with Kevin. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.